Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that, let's be honest, affects every single one of us: money. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of it or a little, understanding it is absolutely key. So let's dive in and make money matters easy.
All right, let's kick things off with a quote that really hits hard. This comes from a professional soccer player back in 2010. You'd think someone earning that kind of money would be set for life, right? But this is such a powerful reminder that making money and keeping money are two totally different ballgames.
And you know what? This story is surprisingly common. We hear it all the time, right? The lottery winner who's broken 5 years, the famous musician who has nothing to show for it. It's a serious cautionary tale for all of us, no matter how big our paycheck is.
So to really bring all this to life, I want you to meet three old friends, Mandla, Frank, and Thumba. We're going to follow their stories, their struggles, and their successes to see how all these money principles play out in the real world. First up, let's talk about something called the money trap. These are the really common financial holes that are just so easy to fall into. Okay, so let's break down who we're dealing with here. First, there's Mandla. He's the guy who's really trying. He budgets, he's careful, but with prices going up, it feels like he's always a step behind. Then you've got Frank. Frank is, well, he's impulsive. He acts first and thinks later, which has gotten him into trouble before. And finally, there's Themba, who's in a really unique spot. He's about to get a huge payout, but he's also dealing with a serious illness, so his future feels anything but certain. And Frank's story? Man, it's a perfect example of how quickly things can go wrong. He found this car, a total bargain, he thought. It was going to make his life so much easier. But he never stopped to think about the other costs, gas, insurance, repairs. Before he knew it, he was 3 months behind on payments, and the bank was threatening to take the car back. That one impulsive bargain just spiraled into a total nightmare. It's funny. We always think debt is the big problem. But what if the opposite happens? Getting a whole lot of money all at once can create a whole different and very unexpected set of problems. It actually has a name, and it might surprise you: sudden wealth syndrome. I know, it sounds like the best problem in the world to have, right? But for a lot of people, that sudden flood of cash is a massive emotional shock. It can completely overwhelm them. And when you look at the symptoms, you really see how this is about so much more than just money. People start feeling cut off from their old friends. They feel guilty. They get paranoid that people only like them for their money. And that fear and anxiety, it often pushes them to do self-destructive things, like throwing money at bad investments or just spending like there's no tomorrow. This is exactly the kind of pressure Themba was feeling. Okay, so we've seen the traps, we've seen the problems. So what's the answer? Well, it all comes down to what I believe is the most important strategy of all: the power of the pause. The single most powerful financial tool you have isn't some complex spreadsheet or a fancy app. It's a habit. It's this simple mantra. Before you make any big decision with your money, you just stop, take a breath, count to 10, and think it through one more time. That little pause, it can change everything. And nowhere is that pause more important than when you're thinking about borrowing money, which leads to a really big question. What is the real price of easy credit? Okay, to really get this, check out what happened when Themba's wife, Nobule, needed to borrow 12,000 rand. If she went to the bank, with its yearly interest rate, she'd pay back a little over 600 rand in interest. Not too bad. But then, look at the pawnbroker. They're charging 40% interest per month. In just 3 months, that same 12,000 rand loan would cost her over 26,000 rand to pay back. That is insane. It's more than double. That's the trap of easy credit. And this isn't just for big emergency loans either. It happens with stuff we buy every day. Take Manla, our budgeter. He is shopping for a TV. Cash price is about 2,000 rand. But if he puts it on a higher purchase plan, the total could jump to over 7,500 rand. Think about that. You could literally buy almost 4 TVs for what you'd end up paying for one. It's just staggering when you see it laid out like that. All right, so we know what not to do. How do we flip the script and actually get ahead? This brings us to the exciting part: making your money work for you. So where do you even begin? Well, the good news is there's a pretty simple 7-step roadmap. You start by picking a goal. Then, and this is a big one, something Mandala struggles with, you have to get real about the difference between what you need and what you want. From there, it's all about making a plan, getting your spending under control, and just being consistent. Every little step matters. And once you start saving, this is where the real magic kicks in. It's a little thing called compound interest. Some people have called it the eighth wonder of the world, and for good reason. It's basically your money making its own money. The interest you earn starts earning its own interest, creating a snowball effect that can grow your wealth like nothing else. And this image right here, it's the perfect way to think about it. Saving is like planting a seed. At first, it's small, but with time and the power of compounding, it can grow into something huge. You are literally putting your money to work. And trust me, the numbers don't lie. This is where it gets really exciting. Let's say you save just 100 Rand a month. After 10 years, you've put in 12,000, but thanks to interest, you've got over 20,000. Not bad. But now, watch what happens between year 20 and year 30. Your money nearly triples. That's not your contributions doing that, that's the power of compound interest working overtime. It's incredible. And look, at the end of the day, all these numbers, all these strategies, they're not just about getting rich. They're about this. They're about peace of mind. That feeling of control, of knowing you have a plan and a safety net. You just can't put a price on that. And what's really amazing is that the good you do for yourself doesn't just stop with you. When you get your finances in order, you can create a legacy that helps your entire family for generations. This has actually led to this really cool trend called pre-inheritance. The idea is, instead of just leaving money in a will, people are starting to give gifts to their kids or grandkids when they need it the most, to help with a down payment on a house or to start a business. You actually get to see your money make a difference in their lives, which is an amazing feeling. Okay, so let's wrap this all up. If you take anything away from our time together, let it be this checklist. It's simple, but it's powerful. Spend less than you make, budget, save something, anything, consistently. Know what debt really costs. Pause before you buy, and always be thinking about the future. That's it. That's the foundation. Because really, that's the whole point, isn't it? This isn't just about spreadsheets and interest rates. It's about building a good life, a secure life for you and for the people you love. So, we've heard the stories of Manla, Frank, and Demba. We've seen the traps, and we've seen the path forward. The only question left, the one I want to leave you with, is this. What will the story of your money be?